morning. And before I get into this very important lecture, I just want to take a moment to thank all of my supporters and everyone for supporting my YouTube channel. You know, my channel will not be where it's at today without all of my supporters. And don't forget to mark your calendar for September the 29th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to do another relational lecture, and I'm going to present that topic. I'm going to present my winning format that I use to write my accepted manuscript. My book title, Await Financial Freedom, was accepted by two world-renowned publishing companies. So if you want to find out the winning format I use to write my manuscript, tune in, because I'm going to be ready to get down to business. So with that being said, let's get on down to this morning's lecture, which is the thought-provoking question: do you know how to self-finance your dreams or for a business? Do you know how to self-finance your dreams or your business? And when I say dreams, that dream could be a dream such as, traveling abroad, to some of these seven wonders of the world. That dream could be writing a book or starting your own little side business. That dream could be increasing your financial portfolio to build your wealth. All of the above. So, do you know how to self-finance your dreams? And all these tips and strategies that I'm going to present, I have been using for the past several, probably 10 plus years. And these tips and strategies have worked for me to self-finance many of my dreams along the way. And I'm here to tell you. And one of the key things that I discovered years ago in order to be able to self-finance any dream or goal is I started living a minimalistic lifestyle about maybe 10 years ago, meaning, got rid of the big house. A key ingredient in living a minimalist lifestyle is wiping out all bills, and I was laser focused. That's critical, In a minimalistic lifestyle, the key thing is you learn how to live below your means, you learn how to live with less. But the most important ingredient about living this lifestyle, you're very intentional with your money. Every dime you spend, you are very intentional with your money. That's key right there. And it worked. And many of the things I did along that journey to self-finance a lot of my dreams. One of my dreams, I was determined, during the time my daughter was in college, I was determined to not let her graduate with that degree with a truckload of debt. She's been in the military going on 10 years doing well, but one of the things I did to self-fund that dream was I got me a weekend job. I got me a job to generate cash flow to self-fund my daughter college. So when she graduated, instead of her being $180,000 in debt like her colleagues, she owed nobody nothing. So that's a key ingredient, people. Live that minimalistic lifestyle. Live below your means. Be intentional with your money. You may have to get a side hustle to generate more cash flow to realize your dreams. All that extra money I made doing that part-time job throughout that journey is I also began to pay off my debt, pay off my bills, increase my financial portfolio. So if you get another job, have a purpose for that money. Have a purpose for that cash flow versus hyper spending, because you're defeating the purpose. And I'm telling you, these tips and strategies worked for me along that journey. As I was paying off bills, daughter long gone, knocking off bills, paying off my car note, got rid of credit cards, accelerate my mortgage. So every time I paid off a bill, I used that same money that I would have been paying on bill, and now I'm increasing my financial portfolio. I'm increasing my emergency savings account. And now I got all this surplus money now to begin to do things like travel debt-free. There you go. And basically it's like a ripple effect. And then I looked up, my mortgage was paid off 20 years early. So now all that money I would have been spending on mortgage, now I'm I'm able to have more disposable income. I use some of that disposable income to self-finance another dream, to pay the publishing company who published my book in cash without creating debt. There you go. So now I'm painting a picture. You know, my book went through 2 world-renowned publishing companies. All of the money I spent to pay those publishing companies to publish my book, all the extra money now I was making off that part-time job, I diverted some of that money on realizing one of my dreams, to get my book published. My audio version of my book became available October 2023. I used some of that surplus money to realize that dream and paid that publishing company to publish my book. Now I'm getting the return on my investments. I would get quarterly checks from 2 world-renowned publishing companies for the rest of my life. So my point is, I'm painting a picture. I had to do what I had to do to increase cash flow, but I was strategic with that money. I was laser focused. I had a purpose for that money. So now, no longer had to work those part-time jobs. I retired September 2023, but I set the stage. Before I retire to start building other streams of income before retirement, but I paid my dues. Royalty checks from my publishing companies. I generate money out of my company, Paris and Associates, with my professional coaching services. My retirement checks, I don't even touch. I reinvest my retirement checks, because I understood the power of, as I created more streams of income, that opened the platform for me to be able to self-fund my dreams, travel abroad, get my book published, and exit up out of the workforce forever, people. That's the secret right there. You got to be willing to be laser focused. When you're trying to self-fund dreams, rather it's paying off bills, rather it's getting a child through college, rather it's getting a book published, or rather it's traveling abroad, you got to have a baseline game plan somewhere in there to increase your cash flow. And you got to be willing to be able to sacrifice and have a target date to have this done. The cash flow has to be increased outside of your day job in order for this blueprint to work. This is real talk. And another tip and strategy, if you paid attention to what I was saying, that along the way, when I was working that full-time job and working that part-time job, and just because to say part-time job, there were times I was going in and working extra hours on my part-time job for a long time. I was pulling 80 hours a week because I was laser focused between the 2 jobs to self-fund my dreams, because I was not going to go in debt to self-fund my dreams. You got a lot of people who create financial destruction trying to self-fund their dreams. Rather it's getting a business off the ground, rather it's writing a book, or rather starting a catering service or consulting services, because it takes money to get a business off the ground. I don't care how small the business is. It takes money to publish a book. It takes money to get a child through college. It takes money to travel abroad, people. And you got to come up with a game plan to self-fund your dreams. And oh, by the way, don't forget, you still got your regular bills along the way. While you're trying to self-fund these dreams, you still got your household bills that's hitting you every month. Your rent, your mortgage, your car note, your car insurance, taking care of the kids, light bill, for everything. You still got all that. Just because you're trying to chase your dreams don't mean your regular real bills stop. No. That's the purpose of getting more cash flow. This is real. I know so many people create catastrophic destruction and lose everything for chasing their dreams, trying to start that business, get that business off the ground. Oh, I'm going to work for myself. Yeah, okay, that sounds good. But how are you going to self-fund that? Your regular household bills ain't going to stop because you're trying to get a book published, or trying to start a business, or trying to get a child through college. You want to travel to go see the great pyramids of Giza. Ain't none of that's going to stop. So my question is, how are you going to self-fund this simultaneously maintaining your household, people? This is real talk. So these are some real tips and strategies that I utilize to self-fund all many of my dreams throughout my life. To the point now, I worked so hard the last about 3 or 4 years before I retired. Because by that time I was generating some passive income for real. And I was strategic with that side money. The last few years of my working life before I retired from the state of North Carolina, about the last 3 years before I retired, my checks from the state of North Carolina, I reinvested the entire check because I had other streams of income coming in, people. I had wiped out all my bills. The only bills I had about the last 3 or 4 years before I retired was my cell phone bill and utilities and food. Everything else was paid off. No credit card bills, no personal loans, no mortgage, nothing. No car note, nothing. Because I had worked so hard to eliminate debt before I retired. About the last 3 years of my working life, all of my paychecks from my job, and I had retired with an extremely high salary. All of my paychecks from my jobs the last 3 months, I reinvested the whole 100% of the paycheck. By the grace of God, because I've been so strategic in generating now passive income from all of my hard work, royalty checks, my company, my book, Awake Financial Freedom, my YouTube checks. That's all passive income, people. So when I get my retirement check every month on the 15th, and my pension package look damn good, I reinvest 100% of my retirement check. And I've been retired now a full year. I have reinvested 100% of my income for a solid year into another retirement account. Hadn't even touched the money because all of my hard work prior years before I retired positioned me in this position today to reinvest my entire retirement income. Think about it. If I was reinvesting my entire paycheck a good 3 years before I retired, I just continue on with that trajectory path because I worked so hard. And I'm living proof this strategy works, people, but you got to write it down on paper. You got to put it down on a business plan, and you have got to be laser focused. So when I do get ready to travel, when I do get ready to go see this world, I'm self-financing, I'm not creating new debt, and now I can really reap the benefits of being strategic. But it don't just stop there. Even in retirement, I'm strategic with my money, still building my passive income. So as my other streams of income continue to come in, I'm reinvesting that money. I'm reinvesting my YouTube checks. I'm reinvesting my retirement check. I'm reinvesting my quarterly checks. I just keep it going. And it does not stop because I embraced the minimalistic mindset years ago in terms of being very intentional with my money. There you go. I have a purpose for my money versus being hyper spending. Versus spending and splurging every day, every week, and every month. So when you get ready to do something, you ain't able to do it. You gotta change your mindset in order for this to work. And I'm keeping this thing real. 10 years before I retired, I can remember I was sitting down 10 years before I knew I was going to retire. 1 decade I knew when I was going to retire. I sat down and I developed a 10-year future plan on what I had to do to exit up out of the workforce forever. I can clearly remember first sitting down, I said, I will retire. My goal is I'm going to retire from the state of North Carolina government 10 years in the future. And I began to write down some steps, some action steps that I had to do to make that happen. And I remember writing down things like I got to start wiping out my debt. I remember writing down things like as I wipe out debt, then now start increasing my financial portfolio. Treat that money like it don't exist. I remember writing down as I get promotions throughout the next 10 years, all the money I get from promotions, treat that money like it don't exist, increasify my financial portfolio. And I was doing it. When I was looking at that business plan on a daily basis, a weekly basis, I remember during the time when COVID hit, they paid us a lot of money to come to work every day. I mean, our check increased by an extra $3,000 a month just from COVID pay. An extra $3,000 a month from COVID pay. And they warned us, don't get used to this extra money. And we ended up getting that money for 3 years. All of that extra $3,000 I got for 3 years from COVID pay for going to work, I reinvested all of that money, plus on top of what I was already reinvesting. So I treated that money like it didn't exist. Do your math on that. A lot of people were spending and splurging that money and living on the high hog and creating new debt and financial destruction. I was slamming that money into my other investments portfolio, and that really set the stage for me to meet that target date to retire in 10 years. So I say that to say, in order to self-finance your dreams, I don't care if it's to increase your financial portfolio, I don't care if it's to retire early, you got to be intentional with your money. I'm getting ready to go on another guided tour in November of this month to Italy and Rome. And I'm going to tell you something, that trip is already paid for. I don't owe nobody nothing. I self-funded that dream. That trip, the bill is zero. I don't owe nobody nothing. All I got to do is go. And as a content creator, when I go over there, I'm going to do a certain degree of live footage. Then I turn right around and write all that business expense off as a business expense as a content creator to decrease my taxable income. Turn that information over to my CPA. Again, I'm very strategic with what I do, people. These are all of the tips and strategies I have been using for years to self-fund my dreams, whether it's to travel abroad or get a book published or whatever, to increase my financial portfolio, get my daughter through college. This is what life is all about, people. You have got to learn the skills to master your money, to control your money, to be strategic with your money, to live that minimalistic lifestyle, because it is working for me. And this is real talk. And I'm going to continue with this strategic plan. I'm going to continue to build my wealth, to continue to build my passive income until my last breath on this earth, people. This is real talk. I'm keeping it real. And another tip and strategy I do that helped me travel abroad debt-free, that helped me travel abroad without creating new debt, is when I went on my guided tour of December of 2023 to Cairo, Egypt, to see many of the 7 wonders of the world in Egypt, the biblical Nile River, the Valley of the Kings, the great Giza pyramids, and all those sites over there. The minute I returned from that guided tour, the key strategy is on how you travel abroad debt-free. When I returned from Cairo, Egypt, of December of 2023, I began to set up a game plan, a strategic plan to pay for my next guided tour. So my next guided tour is November of this year, Italy and Rome. That trip's already been paid for, because I started December 2023 when I returned from Cairo to start paying for my next guided tour. So you keep it moving forward that way. So now, since my next guided tour is already paid for, my guided tour that I'm going to take after that one, I'm already starting right now to strategize to get my next guided tour paid for. I'm going to go to France. I hadn't even left for the one in Italy and Rome. That's in November. But my point is, I'm beginning now to self-fund my next guided tour abroad. And that's one of the most powerful tips and strategies that you can do to travel this world debt-free by coming up with a future game plans to travel this world to see the 7 wonders of the world. This is real talk, people. My next guided tour that I'm leaving in November this year already paid for. I don't owe nobody nothing. I started planning for that, pulling that money together for that trip immediately when I returned from Cairo. And I'm going to keep it that going like that. So I'm always being proactive and intentional and strategic with my money so I can be able to self-fund my dreams to go see all of the 7 wonders of the world, people. That is what life is all about. And to be able to do it debt-free. To be able to do it without creating new debt. There you go. Without creating new debt. And if I was hyper spending every day and every week and every month, then I wouldn't have the money when the time comes to self-fund my dreams to travel abroad, to go see the 7 wonders of the world. You can't be spending and splurging like no tomorrow, and then you want to do things like self-fund your dreams, rather it's to travel or increase your financial portfolio or start a business, but you're out there spending and splurging every day. That's really? So, and these are the tips and strategies I have been using for over a decade, and it's working for me. By evidence, I exited up out of the workforce forever, September 2023. By evidence, I'm traveling abroad, people. This thing is real. This thing, by evidence, I don't even have to touch my retirement checks and will not touch them. I don't need the money. I don't know no everyday regular person who get a pension every month and don't even have to touch the money. Turn around and reinvest their retirement check into another retirement. Think about this. Think about this for a moment. Ask yourself, who do you know get a monthly retirement check once a month? And when they get that check once a month, they don't even have to touch the money. They literally reinvest in that check into another retirement account. Who do you personally know? Who do you know who can do that? Think about your parents or your grandparents or somebody you know in full retirement, for real, and get their retirement check, rather it's a pension or rather it's Social Security, some kind of doggone check, and turn around and reinvest 100% of the check into another retirement account. Really? That's power, people. That's power. And this stuff, they don't teach you this in school. They don't teach you this in college. I'm telling you, this thing is real. So again, these are some tips and strategies I personally use to self-fund all of my dreams, to self-fund my business. Share this information. Somebody might need to hear this information. Somebody in your family may need to hear this information. You may need to hear this information. Share this lecture. If you got a community wall, put this lecture on your community wall. This is the type of information people need to know about. And again, don't forget to mark your calendar for my next relational lecture. And other than that, that's all I have. Simple Fidelity, and I'm going to leave you in the care of your own conscience. Have a great day.